First, I am putting together a breaded chicken salad, and on the base I have some lettuce, adding some tomatoes and cut up green peppers for extra fiber and nutrients. Also adding some avocado for healthy fats and also extra fiber. Avocado is a great fiber source as well. And then I am just going to take these real good chicken tenders. If you haven't tried them, they are awesome, especially in the air fryer. And so I just was air frying those as I was assembling the salad. And then I just chop them up into strips, and then I'll cut them up into some chunks here. And then I just throw it on top of the salad. They just add the perfect little bit of crunch and really good tasting chicken. And then I'm just taking the Bolthouse Farms creamy ranch dressing, and then I'm going to put that and drizzle that on top as my ranch dressing on there. And then I'm going to add just a little bit of Parmesan cheese just to, add some more fats. And there you have it, a super simple chicken salad. And right here, I am actually lighting a candle before I start putting the salmon into the oven and start cooking that because, salmon. And so I'm preheating the oven to about 400 degrees Fahrenheit. While I prep the salmon, I just took out a cookie sheet tray, and I am just going to simply drizzle some avocado oil on the bottom of the pan so that the salmon can cook and won't stick too bad to the pan. I actually found this whole bag of salmon for like $8, a wild caught salmon at Target, I believe. And it was like actually pretty good quality. Thought it was a pretty good fillet, didn't have any problems with bones in the fillet. And I'm just adding some Himalayan salt on top just to add a little extra flavor into the salmon. Super simple seasoning here, nothing crazy. Adding some onion powder as well, and that's really as simple as I am going to make it this time. Here I am just going to slice a lemon, and I'm just going to add some lemon slices on top of the salmon fillet to give that a little bit of a lemony flavor. I feel like lemon pairs super well with salmon. So when it bakes, it's really gonna soak in those flavors, and it'll be really good and refreshing. And now I'm gonna put it into the oven for about 20-25 minutes until it is cooked to a 145 internal temp. And then on the side, while that's cooking, I am actually going to start doing the rice in the rice cooker. And if you've never used this method on how to measure the water, it makes like dang near perfect rice every single time. While the rice and salmon are cooking, I am just going to go ahead and start chopping up some cucumber. I'm going to do the whole cucumber so that I can have some for leftovers. And I'm just going to put them into just like a storage container for some for later in the week when I make a leftover meal from the salmon that we're having. And I can also add it into salads or on the sides of different meals. So the salmon is done cooking, so I'm just going to go ahead and take that out of the oven now, and you can see it is bubbling on the side. So great piece of salmon here, and I'm just going to go ahead and plate it up and just take in probably this is about a 5-ounce fillet, just about what I'm kind of like measuring here. And then I'm putting about 3/4 a cup of rice. Adding the cucumber for extra, vitamins, minerals, hydration, a little bit of fiber there too, and a little fresh crunch. And then I'm just going to take some butter and put that on top of the rice and make sure it adds flavor. I mean, you can't go wrong with some butter in the rice, some extra fats for the meal because you're also getting omega-3 fatty acids from the salmon. So that's a really great meal. And then I am adding the avocado. Avocado is a big thing in our household. Great monounsaturated fat source and a great fiber source as well. So this meal has it all, you guys. You got protein, fats, fiber, and some carbs to support you. All right, now we are getting ingredients out for just some making taco bowls, chicken taco bowls exact. And so all I'm doing is heating up this pan, adding some avocado oil. I take the pan and I will kind of spread out the oil around just so the whole pan is coated. And then I'm just going to take some chicken that I already cooked in the crock pot on Sunday, just batch cook some chicken. I'm going to add it into the pan, and I'm just using my hands because it's the easiest way, and I didn't want to make any more mess in the kitchen with any more utensils. So this is just what we're doing today. So I'm just adding it in here, kind of like a reheating method. But you'll also see I'm just going to add some seasonings because I actually ran out of taco seasoning and I just didn't have it. So I'm using garlic, onion, some paprika, salt. Of course, you know, it's not taco seasoning. I didn't have cumin on hand, so we're just gonna pretend like it's giving some taco vibes, but the plate will make sense when we get there. So flavor is flavor when you add it to a protein. That's how I feel. Then I'm just gonna mix it around. I'm gonna turn the heat down to like low and really let it just heat up basically on the pan so that it doesn't dry out too much. And I added a little bit of liquid, so water in there too, to kind of get it a little less dry. And so now I'm just opening up a can of corn and then the can of pinto beans, which I will drain both of these before even putting them into their individual containers. And I'm actually going to heat them up in these glass containers that I can just add a lid to when we're done with the meal. Super easy. Then you don't have to make a mess out of a whole nother bowl. And so it's already ready to go to be put away. Saves you time when just putting all the food away for leftovers the next day. And so I threw the beans and the corn in the microwave. While those are heating up, I'm actually just going to shred the cheese myself. There's something about just doing shredded cheese and not buying the pre-shredded because you're getting less like fillers and additives on there, and it also melts up so much better. And so here I am just assembling my bowl. So essentially I'm just gonna add some rice for some carbs. And I'm going to lay a big bed of lettuce down. This just adds some volume to the meal. And I do like a little extra crunch in my tacos. And then I'm going to add probably about quarter cup, give or take, of the beans. And then probably with the corn, give or take those, couple tablespoons. Fiber in the beans, a little extra protein there, and then the corn as like a little extra carb, and then I'm adding the protein, of course. We always want to dress up the plate with protein. About probably I have 4 ounces of chicken. I'm using just plain Greek yogurt, as you can see, as my sour cream. Works just the same. And then salsa, and that's pretty much it. And so there you have it. I didn't show adding the cheese, but this is ultimately what it looks like in the end.